Hello, this is Nardian again. I'm gonna talk about in this video the point and cumulative Manicat metrics. So I know some of you may not be using those. That's the first metric I look at when I do like ranked battles. When I press the filter button after specifying the filter, I'll wait for the ranked ordering of the splinters to show up and then make a decision before I even start um, making up my team, which splinter I'm going to pick. And in your mind, you already know which are the excluded splinters, so you just kind of skip over those on that ranked ordered list. So let me describe to you what these point and cumulative mana cap metrics are. So for point mana cap, these splinters are ordered from left to right, and the first splinter that you'll see is the highest ordered splinter. So that splinter has the highest win-loss ratio at the particular mana cap specified in your filter. So here I have 21. So that means there are 7 dragon teams in the database that I have of curated battle data that have won against Spreading Fury, Broken Arrows, and at 21 mana cap. Like exactly 21 mana cap. And these are diamond teams. And then there were 3 dragon teams that lost. So if you divide 7 by 3, you get a win-loss ratio of 2.33. And that is the highest win-loss ratio for any of the other splinters. That is dragon is followed by green at 1.66. Which is earth, and then black at 1 and white at 0.66. So whenever a win-loss ratio is below 1, and that means this life splinter has like 5 teams, right, that have Spreading Fury, Broken Arrows, and 21 mana cap as battle constraints, and they've lost more than one. So it's kind of telling you something there. It's like these are all really good battles, and that at least one of those owners in that battle is a curated owner. So I have a list of highly ranked and curated team owners. These are like champion players or diamond players that regularly hit the leaderboard. And so it's going to be good teams. So even with that, some of these good teams for life, they lose more than win. So it's an indication there. If you want to beat like a top 5 leaderboard player, something like that, then you might need to kind of venture a little bit from the safe bet. The safe bet in this example is probably like gold or green at 21 mana cap. But you'll see like top 5 players, they might win with blue team or red team, and there's no history in the database of, in this case, a blue team ever winning. I only have 3 battles here for a water team at Spreading Fury, Broken Arrows, 21 mana cap, exactly at diamond, right? So I don't have yet a champion player, maybe a top 5 player that have fought under these conditions, and if they did and they chose water, they might well win. And so you might have to take chances, is what I'm trying to say, when you try to fight top leaderboard players. So that's point mana cap. So this is kind of ordered for you so you can quickly look to the left and figure out what is the highest rated splinter in the database for point mana cap win-loss metric. In addition to that, I also look at the cumulative mana cap metric, and this is roughly about this. It's the same thing. It's the win-loss metric, but instead of only looking at battles, in this case at 21 mana cap, it's going to look at all the splinter battles at 21 mana cap and below, all the way down to 12. And so that's why I don't show you the number of wins and losses, because if you did like a 99 mana cap battle, that's going to be a lot of battles. So I'm just showing you just the win-loss metric here. And it's not going to be as helpful to see the number of wins and losses as it is for the point handicap, because there's less data there. So you want to understand, why is this splinter so high? Are there only like 1 or 2 battles in it? Is that why? So you want to understand how that win-loss ratio is derived for point handicap, because there's not going to be a lot of battles. For cumulative though, there should be, and so we don't put the win-loss numbers there. But in this case here, for this particular filter, we see green, which is Earth, is ranked first in cumulative at 1.59, which is pretty good. The next is Dragon at 1.1, so there's a pretty big gap. And when I look at this, I would probably make a decision to go with Earth, and then roughly I would normally, if you do this fast enough where you kind of put in the first, second rules and then the mana cap, and then you kind of look at wait a few seconds and then kind of look at the point and cumulative and try to find the best splinter, you're gonna roughly have about maybe 2 minutes to then go ahead and choose a summoner from that splinter and then start making up your team. Because what I find is a lot of players, what they'll do is they just use their experience, and it's not, you're not gonna have all this data at your fingertips. So you pick a splinter, and maybe with like a minute left you realize this is not a good splinter, I need to back out and pick a different splinter, and so you wasted all that time. So with this, you can go in and go in with a safe splinter, something that it does well generally, and it's proven in the database as it does well generally. So that's a safe bet. You go with a safe bet, and then you kind of build your team around that. So you don't, it's more efficient. You don't really waste too much time doing it this way. But again, if you're going to fight a top 5 player, you may want to take some more risk there. To try to beat that top ranked player, because you'll get a lot of rating points if you do. Okay, so that's how it works. So just to show you that these ratios and these win-loss numbers make sense under point, what we can do is put in gold here in the summoner filter. So if you guys don't know, when you do this, when you put in like a color, what that is basically going to do is it's going to look at all dragon summoners, and when you press the filter button, the results should be teams from dragon summoners. And when you don't specify any other splinter, then it's going to be any dragon team. But if I specify like maybe a red, then that means it's going to be dragon teams that bring in the fire splinter only. So you're not going to see dragon and water or anything like that. But if you don't have an extra splinter specified here, then it's going to be any dragon. So here we see that under point handicap, there are 7 wins at 21, right? So if you go down to your 21 mana cap, sorted by wins and then by mana cap, you see the last 21 here, and all of these should be dragons since I specified gold in the summoner, and I have 7 wins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are all dragon summoners. And then the losses you want to look to see how many losses you have at 21, because this is point, and you see that we have 3 dragon team losses. So the numbers do make sense, and so you don't have to count these while you try to do a ranked battle. You're not going to have time. You're just going to have to trust these numbers. But you can do spot tests. Like for this, let's do green for example next. So let's do green, which is Earth. Okay, so we should expect 5 teams here at 21, and they should all be green summoners, and they are 3 Mylors and 2 llamas, and those are all wins. And then we should see how many losses? 3 losses. So we have to go to the next page. We're still in the wins. Let's go another page, and 21 right here. So there's 3 losses. Okay, so you can trust these ratios, and so you can make quick decisions about which splinter you want to pick. And then of course you can always change your league, so you can kind of get that information that's league specific, right? And then one other point I would want to make is the current example here has a mana cap of 21. So what I'm trying to bring out is that when your mana cap value is closer to 12, then you're going to see a ranked ordering that's going to roughly be about the same. So the closer your water to 12, the closer that they're going to match. And the further your mana cap value is, like 99, then you're going to see a lot more divergence. Like, you know, here, since we're at 21, you can see that, you know, green is first in cumulative, green is second in point, and gold is first in point, and gold is second in cumulative, and then third is black, you know, and then fourth is red, but it's in cumulative, but it's fifth in point, and then white is, you know, so they kind of match pretty closely, you know, and they may switch in order by one place or two, but they're going to match pretty closely. And as you drop this down closer to 12, they kind of converge. And that's because, you know, if I'm looking at point mana cap win-loss at 13, and I compare that to 12, and I compare that cumulative for 13, well, there's only one more mana cap value to look at to calculate the cumulative, right, from 13, which is 12. So the win-loss ratios should look pretty similar. And so they'll be ordered roughly the same. Okay. All right. I think that's probably enough for a video. I don't want to keep you too long. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you guys use these mana cap ranked ordered splinters. I use them every time I do a ranked battle. It saves me time and gives me some assurance that I'm in the right splinter when I'm making up my team. And then if you do have time, you know, like I said, you usually have 2 minutes. You usually have enough time to kind of review other teams. So like if I had chosen the green splinter here, then I have like 3 miler teams to look at just really quickly. Like if you're really familiar with the monsters, you can quickly look over a team and you can really get a feel for how strong a team is, and then you can kind of compare that against your team if you have, you know, enough time left over to make some quick changes. And that you can do that, you know, there's enough time usually for you to do that. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned about point and cumulative mana cap, and good luck with the rest of your season battles. Enjoyed doing this. Thank you so much.